We found a post on Twitter by Clutch Points about the Wild Wild Western Conference for the 2023 NBA season. And it says here, it is crazy to think at least one of these teams will miss the playoffs next season. It is going to be a battle in the Western Conference, and I could not agree more.
Absolutely, as with every year, but even this year, yeah, I would say this year more so for me because there are more small market teams that are actually really good, and some of these storied franchises ain't gonna see the light of day in the Western Conference. So yeah, yeah. By the time we get to the Western Conference Finals, so yeah, I
Oh,
am really excited about that.
I mean, because when you look at the Denver Nuggets, a team that barely made it in the top six last season, lost in the first round to the Golden State Warriors, do you think the Denver Nuggets aren't going back, to the playoffs when they added KCP, Jamal Murray's coming back, they added Bruce Brown? Oh, the Denver Nuggets are going to be fantastic next season.
And they still have Nikola Jokic, two-time
Hmm.
MVP. Yes, absolutely going back to the playoffs. Yes, their spot it will be solidified. I don't know if it'll be at number 6, but I can see them being in the top 6 for sure. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. And then, the Golden State Warriors, so funny, 2022 NBA champs, but, they have gotten older. The only addition that they'll have next season will be James Wiseman coming off of injury. Do they still believe in him? I don't know. They also added Jermichael Green. But, you would think the Golden State Warriors would return back to the playoffs.
You would think they would have to because they are they did win the finals. It's more than likely that they would show up. I would say yes, still. Now, how they will fare in the postseason based off of their age and lack of major improvement to their roster, they got rid of some core pieces that really helped them in their journey to the conference finals and winning the conference finals that I think that they are going to be missing next season. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. But I think the Warriors will be top 6 as well. I also believe that the Suns will be up there too. I don't see why they wouldn't be a top 6 team. And when I'm saying top 6, I'm talking about those teams that have solid playoff spot. Because if you guys all know that in order to get to the playoffs, you can get to it in 2 ways, right? One top 6 spot, which gives you a whole week of rest. That's what you want to do, right? Or through the play-in tournament. So yeah, I think that the Suns will also show up again, as a top 6 spot, one of the 6 spots in the postseason.
Yeah, I think it's now or never for the Phoenix Suns. I mean, CP3 is getting
Yeah.
older, and the thing with the Phoenix Suns is they're essentially running it back. They didn't add any key pieces. In fact, they lost. They
Jamel
lost.
JaVale McGee,
Hmm.
yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I don't know. You know what? Because I just really hope that this postseason will be the postseason that Chris Paul finish healthy. I just want this one to be the one. Is if he finishes healthy, will this be their championship? Like I wonder. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. And then Devin Booker, he's been shut down before in the playoffs. He has to redeem himself from that because that's all I remember. When you say Devin Booker, only thing I can think about is him being shut down by Drew Holiday. That's just the first thing that comes
Oh,
to mind.
he didn't recover from that in the 2022 season for you?
Nah, not for me.
Yeah, that was rough. That was hard to watch in 2021. Ooh, Drew. Oh,
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies, a small market team.
guaranteed.
They're going to the playoffs. I cannot imagine it without them.
You can imagine it without them. Barring any major injury, they will be there. I was like, what? Yes. And the Clippers absolutely will be. Absolutely. Top
Well, the
6.
Clippers. I mean, they're to me, they're the favorites in the Western
Oh,
Conference.
okay. 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 I'm surprised, but okay. But no, they'll be top 6 for sure. Top 6 for
Uh-huh.
sure. So for me, my list of solid top 6 based off of this image would be Warriors, Suns, Dallas, Clippers, Grizzlies, and Nuggets.
Mm.
However, when we're talking about 7 and 8, which is still a playoff spot, it's just by way of the play-in tournament. One team that's missing as a part of this image and should have been a part of the discussion in this image is the Portland Trailblazers. I know we forgot about them. I know we did. I know, but Dame is coming back. And since we're actually going to have 2 open spots, let's think about it. When we're talking about the postseason, we're talking about really teams 1 through 6 and 7 through 10. Because 7 through 10 gives these other players, other teams, an opportunity to make it to the playoffs, right? Postseason. There's going to be 2 open positions, I think, in the West that other teams can vie for. It's going to be 1, the Utah Jazz. It's going to be 2, the San Antonio Spurs. The San Antonio Spurs have been holding that 10th spot for the past 2 seasons. I think they're going to give up that 10th spot this season. And that
Yes.
10th spot can lead way to the Portland Trailblazers at least getting in if they don't make it higher. But I mean, what I'm saying is, we know for a fact that in the previous years, the Utah Jazz was solid in the playoffs, solid 1 through 6. They don't have that. They don't have Donovan Mitchell. They don't have Rudy Gobert, and they pretty much good at their hole. And they trying to figure out a way. I'm quite sure how to shop Jordan Clarkson. What so the Utah Jazz will be one spot that can be taken, right? And then the San Antonio Spurs, by way of the play-in tournament, is that other spot. And I think that's where the Portland Trailblazers will have more of an advantage to fight for a playoff spot for this
That's
2023
good.
season.
That's good. Now I noticed in your 1 through 6, there's a team in the Wild Wild West that you did not mention,
And
and
what
that's the
team is
Los
it?
Angeles Lakers. Do you
I,
not see them making it to the playoffs at all? Or do you not see them in the top 6
I don't
completely?
see
Are they even on the bubble of making the top 6 for you?
I don't see them in the top 6. I see them fighting for a playoff spot by way of the play-in tournament, like I see the Timberwolves fighting for a playoff spot by way of the play-in tournament. Likewise, the Pelicans on this list, I see them fighting for a playoff spot by way of the play-in tournament. And that other team that will be fighting for a playoff spot through the play-in tournament will be the Portland Trailblazers. That's what I see. So, will the Lakers? I do have them as being 7 or 8. Yes. But the playing tournament, I don't know. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Can you make it? I don't know. So yeah, yeah. So in the end, do I see the Lakers being in the playoffs? Yes, but by way of the playing tournament. How about you?
Yeah, definitely. I think they'll be in a playing tournament. They did not make the playing tournament last season.
They did not.
In fact, I felt like they kind of gave up towards the end. But next season they have a brand
Yeah.
new coach. The only hurdle I see is that whole Russell Westbrook situation. Will he feel wanted or not? Because I know they shopped him, and I'm not sure. Their head superstar, their head GM, LeBron James, actually wanting him to stay on the team. But because of, we all know, contract situations, he's still there. And I do believe he'll be on the team next season. So I don't know. I would love to see the Lakers fight for a playoff spot, but it's really up in the air. I just don't know. I don't know how Coach Ham is going to handle all the personalities in the Los
Mhm.
Angeles, Lakers. So we'll see.
Yeah. What did you think about the Wolves? You have the
The
Wolves.
Timberwolves, yeah, losing Patrick Beverly is going to be huge for them.
Huge.
I think
Absolutely.
he
I
he
agree.
provided that dog, he provided all that leadership, and he also held players accountable. And he got in the face and in the chest of D'Angelo Russell and Carl Anthony Towns. Adding Rudy Gobert, to me, is not going to move the needle much for them.
Yeah, and I know uh, Patrick Beverly's vibrato when it comes to being a leader and how he can be in players' face. Will that work with this group of players with the Los Angeles Lakers? That's all I'm saying. I get it. I do get it. I mean, come on, the Timberwolves, young group. Patrick Beverly can give that big uncle leadership. Will that work with this group where some of them are championship players? Like, I just I some of them, not all. I just don't know, and their personalities. I don't know how that will fare well with them, and will that cause rift? And will that be a part of why they are unable to have the continuity that they need? Now, I get it. I've read the articles where they seem like they're going to be able to get along. Patrick Beverly and Russell Westbrook, and they made amends. I hope all that's great. I'll love to see it, and I hope that's what it is because we want them to be able to play and compete for a championship. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to work.
Yeah, can we talk about, since you're talking about Patrick Beverly, can we talk about his statements he made during the press conference when I think the reporter asked him, like, hey, you're excited you're gonna be playing with LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and he was like, oh, hold up. They're gonna be playing with me. I made the playoffs last season. They didn't. There's a difference.
Cringe much?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, but they also won a championship together. And although you went to the playoffs 2022, you still don't have a championship ring. I understand that, right? So yeah, he did. And you know what? The statement is a true statement that he made. That he did make. He helped lead the Timberwolves to the playoffs because they didn't make the playoffs the previous season. So the statement is true. I just don't know if it applies. Like I don't know if that was and it's true. The Lakers did not make the playoffs last season. The statement is true. but does it fit? Like, I don't know. I just
Mhm.
don't know if that was when we're talking about players who won a championship. And LeBron James has multiple championships. Like, yeah, but you know,
Yeah,
so we'll see how that works out. I don't know. I don't
yeah,
know. What about the
yeah.
Pels?
Oh, the Pelicans. As much as I enjoy watching them, I think they are going to be something to see with Zion back on the court. I think they'll be on the outside looking in. But they're still a very young team, coached by a very young coach. There's still plenty of time. There's no real urgency for the New Orleans Pelicans.
Right. Hence is why the Portland Trail Blazers will have something to say about how they make it to the postseason this 2023 season. Because Dame is coming back from the Portland Trail Blazers. They
Hmm.
actually signed an extension for Anthony Simons. Jeremy Grant was traded to them. They got Josh Hart, Joe Ingles. Like, what? Gary
Yeah,
Payton II. The roster looks nice.
it
Still got Yusuf
does.
Nurkic. They have this other guy who's from OKC. His name is Oliver Sarr. Now I haven't watched him, but he's 7 foot tall, about 240 something pounds. What is he gonna do in the center? Like, we will start looking at the Portland Trailblazers a little bit different this upcoming season, and so they should be a part of the discussion about who could potentially be in the playoffs for the Western Conference. And I think they are.
Yes. And not to mention, head coach Chauncey Billups, who I like the
So
way he has got those guys like, on the same page, that leadership. And because he played in the NBA, come on.
yeah, and now
Mhm.
it's his time to finally showcase. He has been compromised for the past 2 seasons. When did Chauncey Billups become head coach? 2 seasons? This is his third season? I want to say yes.
Yeah, okay.
I want to say yes. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I want to say yes. Nonetheless, he will finally have his chance to be on the big stage. I just think this is it. Dame coming back full, healthy, ready to go with now a roster that's different than what it was when they had the previous coach. Should be a part of some discussion. If not, solid six, at least playing tournament.
Yes, yes. Okay, so now looking at this image here, like, is there a team that does not belong like, what are they doing on this image? Is there a team that you have?
No, I think all the teams for discussion purposes should be here. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
I think so. Yes. Yes.
It's going to be tough. The Western Conference. And you know what, though? The East is going to be tough, too.
Yeah. I think so. I think they're both equally. I think they're equally tough. I think so. They both have
Mhm.
something special that their conference requires, and I think the games are going to be amazing to watch. And at the end of the day, whether the East and West is tough and who's not, who gonna make it to the postseason? That's what I want to know, right? And whether you get through by way of the playing tournament or you get through a solid 1 through 6, you're still gonna be there. So yeah, interesting. So who do you have? Which teams do you have that will not make it to the postseason? Solid. That you just know not
Okay.
gonna make it.
Uh, I don't think the New Orleans Pelicans will make it.
They're one.
And
They're one
then
of the
I'm
ones.
on the fence about the Minnesota Timberwolves. I really am. Even though they picked up Kyle Anderson, that Patrick Beverly loss is going to be crucial for them.
Those are my two as well. The Pels and the Timberwolves. Yes, yes, yes. I agree. I really believe that the postseason will probably end up with 7 and 8 spot will be the Lakers and the Portland Trailblazers for some reason. So
I'm
we'll
not
see.
ready to give my top six or my 7-8 or my
Ah,
9-10 right now, but
yeah,
oof.
yeah, it's fine. Again, we're talking about before the season even began. Trust me, when we have this discussion, probably 30 games in, my whole thought process may change. So yeah, it's fine. But I don't have a problem with those teams. And I say that when I give my top six because it's obvious to me. To me, it's obvious. But will they sustain that? Will it be obvious by the time the Christmas games come? I don't know. Don't
Yeah.
nobody know nothing right now. We all projecting. So yeah, it's cool.
Don't nobody